What up? It's Dramos, and this is the recap. Of course, as I do each and every week, breaking down some of the biggest headlines from this last week. I have a very special guest hopping on in just a little bit to help me break down some of those stories. He is considered one of the pioneers of Latin trap. Messia will be joining me in just a little bit. But before he hops on, man, let's get into some of the BS from this last week. All right, so the Tokyo Olympics have been in the headlines over the last few weeks, and not really because of the games or sports themselves. It's really been about this sort of circus that is just surrounding it for whatever reason. I mean, from Tokyo being placed in a state of emergency because of COVID outbreaks to a bear being seen on the softball field. Yes, that was a real thing. Look it up. To alleged anti-sex beds for the athletes. The Tokyo Olympics have just basically been making the news for all the wrong reasons. Now, one of the more shocking stories that has come out from Tokyo over the last week was the unexpected withdrawal of superstar gymnast for Team USA, Simone Biles. Now, she cites mental health reasons for her withdrawal from the individual all-around competition, and as of the filming of this, she still technically can compete in the finals, but that is up in the air. Now, when she talks about her mental and her reason for withdrawing, CNN did a really good job of kind of breaking this down a little bit. They said, this doesn't mean that she felt sad or didn't have the heart to compete. It means that her psychological state put her at a significant physical risk. If her brain wouldn't play along with what her body knows how to do, she could be seriously injured. So basically, she felt like her mind wasn't in complete control of her body. And I think anyone with a logical mind can understand how dangerous that could be for someone who is doing superhuman flips for a living. Now, notice that I said the word logical, because sadly, in this world, we have a lot of people who seemingly don't have the ability to think about things in a logical way. And what's even more sad about that is that many of these people, they have large platforms to spew their stupidity. Now, take Piers Morgan, for example, who many of us will remember first being introduced to him as he played the seminal role of the pigeon lady in Home Alone 2. What's that? You sure? Okay, well, I'm being told by my producer that actually was not him. Can we pull up a side-by-side of the two just to be sure? Could have fooled me. But that actually just leads me to the question of, why is Piers Morgan even remotely famous? And I guess the only answer to that is that we live in a world where media loves to reward miserable turds and polish them up and just call them edgy. So Pigeon Lady or Human Turd, whatever you want to call him, Piers Morgan was back on his BS again this last week via Twitter, spewing his normal hate mongering, saying, "Are mental health issues now the go-to excuse for any poor performance in an elite sport? What a joke. Just admit you did badly, made mistakes, and will strive to do better next time. Kids need strong role models, not this nonsense." You know what's actually a joke, Pierce? A middle-aged man who resembles a homeless woman from a classic 90s film critiquing a 24-year-old for making a personal decision that she felt was best for her current and future self. And didn't you walk out of your job and quit on live television because your co-host didn't agree with something you said?
Yet you continue to trash her.
Okay, I'm done with this.
No.
Sorry, no. Sorry.
Do you know what? That's pathetic.
You can trash me, mate, but not my own stuff.
No.
See you later.
I'm being...
Sorry, can't do
this.
this.
This is absolutely diabolical behaviour.
I mean, is that the type of strength that these kids need to be taught? Or these kids that you're speaking of, here's a lesson for them. Take your mental health very seriously, because if you don't, there's a very good chance you'll grow up to be a miserable adult who feels the need to take shots at people you don't know just to make yourself feel relevant. Like, you gotta love the reactions from these like Monday morning quarterbacks of the world. My homegirl G posted an incredible post to her story that I think kind of sums up this phenomenon that I'm talking about. She said, "I think it's hilarious that you all think that Simone Biles is obligated to win you a gold medal while you sit on your ass and watch from the couch." Like, half the world is literally fighting for its life right now in the midst of a pandemic. And when it comes to the United States, we're living in a country where many people believe that Fox News is actual news and that the Kardashians have never had plastic surgery. I mean, Simone, I think you're going to be okay. Like, we've got a lot of other things to worry about over here other than some gold medal. And sadly, though, this type of mindset is not just unique to talentless pundits like Piers Morgan and the celebrities that he obsesses over while not tending to his pigeons. This mindset is one that we see far too often in everyday life. Like this mindset that, has people not believing in mental health issues, creates this narrative where bosses tell you nobody cares, work harder. And also, we're just living in a country where people of color, specifically women, are often told they're exaggerating when it comes to pain. And I don't have time to really fully break down that last statement that I made. But if you doubt me, look up the statistics on the Black maternal mortality rate, which has Black women dying at 4 times the rate of white women during childbirth. But my point in saying all this is really, whether you're a world-class athlete or just a hardworking American like myself, always remember that you and your health should be the priority above any check or medal, and especially above the opinion of some middle-aged pigeon lady. Now, with that said, let's bring on my guest for this week. He is called one of the pioneers of Latin trap. He has records with heavyweights like Nicky Jam and Ozuna. His latest single, Bahamas, is out everywhere right now. Messia, how we feeling?
Oh, what's up, brother? I'm good, man. What's up with you?
Man, just chilling, man. Another day over here. You know what I'm saying? Work from home life. I'm not minding it.
I mean, I love it, man. You know, you could just be here, the comfort of our home, just chilling. Mm-hmm. I got my little dog Sky. As I was mentioning earlier, yeah. Chilling.
I love it, bro. She's gonna be, I think, a bigger celebrity than you at the end of these this run you got going.
For sure, yeah. And I don't mind. You know, she deserves all the shine.
I love it, bro. Well, listen, man, you got a ton going on right now, but if it's cool with you, I kind of want to start with some current events and get your take on them.
Yes, for sure, right, cool. Definitely. Let's go.
All right, so, I mean, have you seen this whole thing with Kanye? He is apparently living in the arena in Atlanta where he had his listening party. So he apparently has like a side room with a bed and everything, and he's staying there until he finishes the album, till he feels like it's ready for the world to hear. Have you heard about this?
I haven't heard about it. You know, this is the first time I'm hearing about it. There's a lot been going on with my stuff. And you know, I'm in like, I always like check into, not that I don't hear what's going on in the Anglo world, but like, I guess like the news that was happening in like the Spanish world, I hear it quicker than what's happening in the American world. But hey, you know, Kanye is his own genius. You know, I always knew that about Kanye. Kanye is a Gemini, you know, is somebody that's like, very particular, very unique, very hard to understand. Yeah. So, hey, you know, if his muse, if whatever little voices Kanye listens to told him this is what you need to do for this project to be great, then, you know, I guess all praises to him. I hope, you know, it works for him.
Right. Well, I mean, but as an artist, though, like, have you ever found yourself in a position where you're just like overly critical, or maybe every record where you're just sitting there like you can't let it go? You know what I'm saying? Do you ever find yourself like that?
I mean, you get demoitis sometimes, but I don't think I've reached Kanye level, you know, to be in that state of mind where I would have to, you know what I'm saying? But obviously, you know, there's certain things that you want to hold on to, some things that, you know, you just don't want to change. The producer might want to change a beat, and, you know, you're just so stuck on the original project. You just want to leave it as is. But I don't think I've been, you know, at that stage yet.
Yeah, that's a little bit much, I think, probably for anybody's standards. I mean, do you have like a final test? Like I've heard some producers, like the car test is their last, you know, test. If it knocks in the car, I'm curious for you as like an artist, you know what I mean? Like as a actual vocalist, you have a final test. You're like, all right, cool. This means the record's done.
Yeah. I would say I do the car test as well. You know, I listen to it in the studio a couple times. I want to also get it like in my AirPods. I want to listen to them in a headphone setting. But I think the car is where it seals the deal. When you listen to it in the car, and if it's banging in the car and if it sounds good, then we got one.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's move into the Latin space. I mean, so Bad Bunny obviously is like a name that we can't get out of our heads. Yeah, everybody talks about it. He's always doing a million things. So he has this partnership with Cheetos right now where he's helping give back. It's like $500,000 for Latin students. I mean, it's one thing to get a platform, right, and to have all these things for yourself to achieve the fame and the money and all that. But I mean, for you, are there any causes that are like heavy on your heart that you would love to be able to kind of give back to one day, or that you kind of find yourself doing even now?
Oh, you know what? Hey, not just because I got my dogs here with me, but I
Yeah.
would say anything, anything that has to do with like giving back to animals. Since I was young, I've always been, like I always loved animals, and also here every time I like here in Miami and in LA, like when I go to LA, like just seeing the people in the tents,
Yeah.
if I could just give back to them, that'd be something that'll mean a lot to me. And just because it's promises that I made, to myself.
Sure.
I've been through a lot in the past 2 years. You know what I'm saying? God has been great with me. The universe has been giving a lot to me. I got Nicky Jam, everything that's been going on in my career in the past year. So, I just want to be in the business of giving back. I told God if I get in the position to be a millionario, to be able, to change my life and do all the things that I promised that I'm going to do, I'm definitely not going to forget about it when I get there. I definitely want to start these, non-for-profits and all of these associations and all of these, foundations to give back to the people that really need it. Because I feel that there's a lot of like, these places that are just there like to take people's money and send, and they really never do what they say that they're going to do. So I just want to be in the business of just keeping my word, because a lot of good people kept their word with me. They did exactly what they said they was going to do for me. And they did it sin nada a cambio. They did it with like nothing in return.
Yep.
They did it to really do the deed. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it's like when you do a deed, hopefully you get something good in return. But, when you do something to get something in return, that's like, that kind of like, defeats the purpose of it. Is when you do something to really do it out of the kindness of your heart.
Yeah.
I guess, if something good comes back, if, you get good karma for that. But hey, even if I don't, I did it because something in me told me that was right to do. So.
Yeah. Now that's beautiful. I think the cool thing about you is it's like you kind of were riding high. I mean, we're going to get into your story. You were riding high and then obviously kind of losing it all, it feels like, and then to be able to come back now, I would assume that so much you're able to appreciate it so much more now. You know what I mean? Because of your story, which I want to kind of start at the beginning just a little bit, because, we're seeing the global success of so many Latin artists, and a lot of them started kind of in this Latin trap scene, and you were there from the early days of it. So, I mean, kind of take us through your story just a little bit, those early days of like Latin trap, and then kind of the ups and downs of what you've gone through.
I mean, I'm considered one of the pioneers of Latin trap. Things were going real good for me. I was doing pretty much sellout tours. I did Europe. I was doing all over the United States, Puerto Rico, DR. And, I guess I just made some bad choices. I just fed an ego, a monster that I guess I just always wanted the attention. I grew up being that little chubby kid that didn't need attention, that always wanted attention, didn't get the attention. So I guess, when I started making money, it was like, you know what, like I'm lit. And also I guess what had to do with that is there was a lot of people who kind of doubted Latin trap. Like it was like they thought it was not going nowhere. So when I started doing numbers, a lot of people started taking the credit that, I felt should have been mine for putting all the slack, for taking all the criticism, for dealing with all now that shit ain't going nowhere. So I'm not gonna lie, there was a lot, and I come from New York, like we address problems. Like I'm not just what? When I see you, I'm gonna pull you to the side. Like, yo, bro, what you mean? What are you? So I guess that mentality, definitely closed a lot of doors. That mentality at one point even had me being looked at as a hater, if you will, for defending what was mine. Let's say you got this platform, you go so hard with it, you have this idea and no one else is using it, like in the podcasting world, whatever it is. Right. And then somebody that you met with, like, hey, we can make this bigger, or whatever the case is. It's just an idea. And he totally on you. And then just because he has a bigger platform, next week you see him going with your idea, and he's like, "Whoa, what the hell is yo?" So it was kind of that. Now I also admit that maybe I should have went about it, different ways. I didn't have such an understanding of the game. I didn't have the maturity. I didn't have the peace of mind that I have now to sit and analyze. And even if someone were to say something disrespectful now, I'm not gonna just, just be so short fused and just go be like, "Oh, so what's up?" Or just go vent on IG how I used to do back then.
Right.
So I guess just a mixture of that, a mixture of just my frustration, a mixture of just everything what was going on, and maybe me not knowing how to deal with it. You know what I mean? Probably being very green, you know, to the music business.
Sure.
Just closed even more doors and just burned bridges that probably I didn't even want to burn, or even people didn't even want to burn with me. But you know, even Nicky Jam told me like, "Yo, dude." At one point, I was like, "Damn," you know, I just had to like, just not give you the cold shoulder, but just kind of step away because you know you was starting to be with Arcángel, be with this guy, be with that guy, you know, and these are guys that are very respected in the game. So, you know, that could also be kind of like a suicide mission type. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it kind of was what happened, you know, and then I had to, you know, like just, you know, go through what I went through, really learn because there was like a real life lesson, you know, like, you know, let me just get on my, you know, at the end of the day, like my manager always told me, a hit single, you know, your music is going to speak for himself. You know, you can say, oh, I did this, I did that. Man, drop hot, you know, because that's what people want at the end of the day. You know, you got rappers who say, oh, I did this in 1993. Yeah, but we in 2021. Like, what are you doing now? That's what the fans want to listen to. So I just had to really learn that, get that through my head, and just be in the space that I am now to be able to appreciate what's going on with me, appreciate my fans telling me like, yo, that's what we wanted. That's the Messiah that we know. So, you know, it was just, I guess, a matter of having that life lesson.
Yeah, I mean, you know what's funny, man, is it's like a lot of the stuff that helped you get to where you are, that helps you kind of get your name out there, right? That aggressiveness, that not taking people's nonsense, all that stuff. Eventually, though, it can also be your downfall if you don't find a way to control it. Once you start getting that success and you get in those doors, it then becomes a liability for you, you know, losing it at some point. You know, it's interesting how that works.
But it's one thing is you being a man, because I can mention you, my closest friends don't have the problem that I have. You ain't just gonna go like me. One thing is, you know, me not just addressing every single comment. Not every action deserves a reaction. You know what I'm saying? That's just not necessarily gonna mean that you're just gonna come and you're gonna just step all over me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just know the politics of the game now, because I know some of the realest dudes who you could tell them anything and they'll just be like, all right, they'll just let it fly until you just don't put your hands on me, don't see me. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I would just go and be like, oh, and name somebody, you know, like, and mention somebody's name. Oh, I heard such and such is saying he started land trap. Like, I would just go to that extent and, you know, just go and have an outburst and vent on my social media. So, you know, me not doing that now doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not willing to, you know, die for what I stand for or defend anything that I got to defend. I just know, you know, how to do it. You know, how would one of the greats do it? How would Jay-Z do it? Jay-Z doesn't just go everything Yankee. Yankee is under, you know, constant, oh, Yankee, do this, do that, go back to this Yankee. Just like me, because I do Latin trap and I also sing. So every time I drop a trap record, I got my fans saying, oh, man, you should drop more singing music. Then I come with a commercial record and then they're like, oh, another trap record. So it's like, sometimes I don't really, you know, but Yankee posted something the other day and the way he explained it is like, it's such a like respectable, like you can't even get mad of the way he's just giving you his, you know, his answer to why. He's like, man, I just, you know, I'm just a futuristic guy. You know, if the music from the past is the past, I'm never going to go back to the old Yankee. I'm just going to try to, you know, just innovate and just keep, you know, the times changes, music changes, you know, you just got to stay lit, you know, got to be on it. So, but I guess me back then, I would have probably been like, yo, don't ask me to do new music. Like, even with something so light, I probably would have got, you know what I'm saying? So it's just learning how to, you know, pick your battles, and certain things you just got to let it fly, man. If it doesn't affect my money, if it doesn't affect, you know, my situation right now, man, not everything got to be addressed, man. You know, sometimes silence is the best weapon. You know, just,
absolutely.
Some people just want, you know, that 15 seconds of fame, you know,
just, well, that's the thing. Some people they're just trying to get a reaction out of you, and that's a win for them. And then you're giving it to them at that point, you know. And that's the funny part about it. I mean, but was there like one moment that was the turning point? Because obviously you're talking about a tremendous amount of growth that you've had now with your mindset. And what was kind of the turning point that got you to this place that you're at right now?
I had a fight in New York that almost went viral, and you know, I was just being frustrated, you know, not making the same money that I was making, not charging the same that I was charging for shows. And then obviously this was something that was going on before the pandemic. You know, the pandemic was just like the icing on the cake, you know. I had to go back to my sister's house. I had to turn in my apartment before coming to Miami. I was looking at a little studio apartments, you know, that I was gonna move into, you know, and pretty much like start from scratch and see what was gonna be like my next step. And in the midst of that, I had a fight, and the fight got the Nicky Jam's eyes. And you know, I thank whoever showed it to Nicky Jam, because you know, at first I thought maybe whoever showed it to him kind of showed it to him, maybe like, oh, look, what's up with your boy? Look, he's fighting. What's up with him? And maybe, you know, they just didn't know, but I thank them because they changed my life. Because, dude, he called me, and no one called me for this. Like, no one, not even family members, not even people who I thought I was closer to than Nicky Jam. You know, Nicky Jam is a legend to me, is an icon. And for him just to reach out and be like, yo, like, what's going on with you? This is not the Messiah. No, this is not. Mind you, I came out when I was super hot. I came out in Nicky Jam's comeback album, The Phoenix, and he even mentioned that. He was like, dude, I remember you were so hot. Like, I had you on my album as a feature artist because you was just, you know, I just had the hottest of the hottest.
Yeah.
And I let him know what was going on, you know, and he was like, man, you don't even got to tell me no more. Hop on the next flight and come out here to Miami. You know, you're going to have my team. You're going to have everybody in my camp. We're going to, te vamos a recibir, you know, you're going to have a family here. You're going to be around positive vibes. And dude, I can honestly say that that's what definitely changed my life. And that was like the Kickstarter to everything that's going on right now in my career. Because after he did that, it's like I lost 40 pounds. I got into a routine of, you know, like I said, you know, just letting things slide, just being more at peace with myself, and really just focusing on the things that are really valuable, and just anything else, like all the other, like, you know, like things that are not really, you know, like meaningful in my life, just letting them slide, and it did a lot of good for me.
Nah, that's beautiful, man. I mean, it's funny because you guys' stories are so similar. You know what I'm saying? Like you and Nicky. And I think it's so dope to see that he kind of threw the ladder back down. You know what I'm saying? Like he climbed the ladder and then threw it back down for the next person who needed it. So I just think that's a beautiful thing.
Exactly.
You don't see that in this industry very much because of how competitive it is, you know? And it's just really dope to see, you know, people helping each other and kind of passing along that good fortune in a time of need, you know?
Facts. Yeah, definitely, man. And he's just, you know, that's just who he is, bro. You know, not just with me, like with his team, with everybody who's like, you know, around him. He's just such a giving person. And again, like Nicky Jam has set out this like blueprint, this guide of what I want to do when I get in that position. You know what I'm saying? To help out, to reach out to an artist and be like, yo, bro, you know, I don't know what you're going through, but I'm here, bro. You know, you need studio time. I got the studio right there. Like what you need, you know, and just that little bit of help could do a world in somebody who don't have studio time, who's probably, you know, going through it just to get studio time. So, you know, those are definitely things that'll make me happy and help me sleep better at night.
No, that's beautiful, man. Yeah, definitely like giving somebody a positive way to spend their time is such a huge thing, you know? I mean, so let's talk about what you got going on right now. I mean, obviously the single Bahamas just came out. I saw the video for that one, which I love. I mean, what do you got going on? We just doing singles? We got the album. What are we working on next?
Yeah, man, I just feel, you know, after having such a long time without, you know, dropping music, it was like a 3-year hiatus, and things are starting to go real good. You know, my fans they have that hunger, like, what's next, man? Let's drop this, drop that. I'm definitely going to keep dropping singles. You know, I dropped a project in a moment where I feel like all eyes weren't on me, or maybe no eyes were on me. So I feel like that project was so underrated. There's such great material there that I probably would have mentioned, oh, you remember this song? And they wouldn't even know. And this is just probably like maybe right before the pandemic.
Right.
But so since now, you know, I have this we're building this nice momentum. I definitely want to keep dropping singles because I never dropped the album. I've only dropped mixtapes and EPs.
Right.
So my first, you know, actual album, I wanted, because I know I'm going to give it all. I wanted to definitely be something that is going to be appreciated and is going to be, you know, consumed the way I would want it to be. So, yeah, man, I just, you know, want to keep, I'm very grateful with everything that's been going on. Millonario before this one, Bahamas, you know, everybody's talking about the video. Everybody's talking about this is the first time they see me in this like new style, this like very pop, very, like a crossover, very global.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I just want to keep showing them who Messia el Artista is, because, everybody just know me as Messia el Trapero, Messia the trap artist.
Yeah.
I definitely want to show them, that, I can make great music as well. Not saying that trap is not big, because, when people, it's like, even for radio,
Right.
oh, what's next for him? I hope he doesn't come with a trap record, just because at least in the Spanish world, trap records are not very, Spanish, the radio is still very traditional. It's still very, even reggaeton, it took a lot for reggaeton to be where it's at. So,
sure.
Not saying that I know it is. I know that there's going to come a time where there's going to be a Latin trap record, or it's going to be, trap is going to go through all the trials and tribulations that reggaeton had to go, and that even hip hop had to go in the American world, with the Eminems of the world and all of those controversies. So now you can have the freedom of speech. So now you can say there's still certain things that we say in trap that when one of, these PDs or one of the people that run Spanish radio here and be like, oh my God.
Right.
No matter how much you censor it, it was like that with hip hop, with rap. And but I know we're gonna get there. But for now, like I said, man, I just want to keep, feeding my fans great music and just keep growing.
I love it, bro. Well, listen, Missy, I wish you the best of luck, bro. Your story is incredible. It's super inspiring, man. I love how you're kind of just giving back and giving that free game to people who are willing to listen, man. So appreciate you for hopping on, bro. And man, best of luck.
For sure. Thank you, man. I like your hat, man. That's a fire hat.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, this dude in Queens makes them. Yeah, Maldito, he makes them.
Duro. Plug me up with him. I'll definitely get one of those. That's fire. That's fire.
Yeah, I'll pass along the link to your PR people so you can hook up with them.
Duro. Thank you, my brother. You have a great day, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate your time.
Absolutely, my bro. Take care, okay?
Oh.
Peace, brother. Now, this week's quote comes to us from Humble the Poet, who's just an incredible author and overall artist. Definitely go check out his books. They're just absolutely amazing, life-changing, honestly. And he has a really good quote that I felt was so fitting to how I started the show talking about Simone Biles doing what was right for her. And the quote is, give a damn about yourself first, then those who give a damn about you, and then see if you have any dams left. Whew. And that's just the way we all should be living life, man. Take yourself into consideration first. Make sure you are good, right? Because if you are not good, you can't be of service to anyone. And don't feel any shame for taking time for yourself when you need it. Then, after you've made sure you're good, you have the ability to take care of those around you, those who you care about, your loved ones. And after that, then you can try and see if you have any more energy left for anybody else. But the basics of this quote and why I found it to be so powerful is I feel like so many of us don't prioritize ourselves, don't prioritize our own happiness, our own well-being. We just kind of allow the world to dictate what we're doing, whether it's our jobs or our families. We often find ourselves having a hard time saying no to things, even though we don't feel like we're up to it. And this is just a friendly reminder. You have the right to say no. You have the duty to say no if you feel it in your heart, if it doesn't feel right for you. And don't allow anyone to guilt you into feeling like you can't do something that you know is best for yourself. And man, with that said, thank y'all so much for tuning into this week's show. I appreciate y'all, the love and support, man. It is always very much felt. So thank y'all so much. Man, I'll catch y'all next week. Until then, be safe. Bye.